So I'm recording this, and again, no one has to see this other
Mhm.
than you and I. It's just that the way I get to know people is I ask them their story. And normally it takes like an hour, sometimes 2 hours for people to tell their story, but holy moly, your story. It's just absolutely incredible. I mean, you lived in 17 countries, you're a chef, you became a Buddhist monk, you're known as the Fiber King, now you're doing the Wheel of Bliss. I know this is not going to be a 2 hour story. So what I'm asking you is it okay if I tape these and then I get to kind of review them and learn them because I'm a modeler and I want to do that. And then we'll just meet like once a week and we'll record them. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, yeah, thank you. That sounds great.
Okay, cool. So I absolutely want to hear your entire story because I've heard it in pieces, but I have a bunch of questions and I
Okay.
want to like specifically get it straight. When I try to explain to other people your story and they ask me questions, I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know. And I feel kind of dumb. So I'm gonna try to ask you all those questions, okay? So and the thing is that well, let me just start with this.
Hmm.
Um, I still don't understand the wheel bliss. Like
Okay.
when you explain it to me and I explain it to other people and they ask me these questions. So, like, what should I say when people say, "What is the wheel of bliss?" What is my answer?
All right, I'll give you the short answer now. But basically, we have a lot of energy, tons of energy pouring through us. We're incredibly powerful beings, like physically and mentally, right? What is anxiety? It's just so much energy. Like, what should I do? And so many choices to make every second. And we don't know what to do when we feel, and we're being hit by media and advertisements all the time. So there's a lot working on our unconscious, plus all the programs we got. So we got to ask ourselves, are we using that energy effectively? Do we feel like, are we so basically, so most people are running these programs on this hamster wheel, going around in circles, right? Literally,
Right.
they have all this energy and they're,
And
they're
get nowhere, getting nowhere.
exactly. So they're trying to sometimes for most people it's money. And they're like, if I just had more money and they can't think and they think they can't start putting their energy into the areas that matter. And I'm talking about little changes in your life to start. Everybody thinks it has to be big. So what the Wheel of Bliss is a way to take that energy and start channeling it into productive ways. And it's based on different, very important aspects of the human life.
Okay,
You might be missing.
so you basically have the choice between the hamster wheel and the wheel of bliss. And
Exactly.
it sounds like the hamster wheel goes like this, and the wheel of bliss is more like where you're putting your energy.
Well, this idea of a hamster wheel goes back to the Buddha. The Buddha described suffering as this wheel. He called it the wheel of samsara. So,
Okay. Does
so it's
samsara mean hamster?
yeah, yeah, basically, it's like the wheel of endless suffering. It's
Oh,
like
okay.
it has no beginning and end because it's just this spiraling until you get off. Yeah,
Nice.
yeah. So
Nice.
yes,
So,
yes. So the wheel of bliss is instead of going like this, it's more like looking at the whole wheel at once.
okay. So what are the parts of the wheel of bliss? Like, is there certain parts or sections or what am I looking
Yeah.
at?
So we I was studying American culture after basically 8 years of pure Buddhist study. And I had this realization, instead of going to India for the rest of my life and living as a monk, I felt this calling, like I would be more helpful when I was honest with myself. I would be more helpful here because I know this culture, and I would also be more challenged here. If I went off and been a monk, I would have it would be a very amazing life. I would do my favorite thing in the world, meditate and study Buddhism. So this would be I have to put it into practice and still find time to study. So that came to me. It felt blissful, that thought. And then I started thinking, okay, how do I understand American culture? So I'm reading all these books about business and all the things that Americans are obsessed with, which I was never that obsessed with, but I had achieved my Buddhist goal. So now I'm like, okay, I could take this on. I can crack this code on how to live the best life in America. So that's what got me realizing that we all have genuine, like genuine desires for what's good for us. And you might have heard of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the security needs, emotional needs. So I realized, like the ancients taught, like with the four elements, we all do have this healthy desire for security, safety, which could be people think is money, but it's actually many parts to that, not just money. It's what the money can do. And then we have emotional, like a drive to have emotional, to have connection, community. Then we have a drive to express ourselves and to express our uniqueness, be creative. And then we have a drive, a healthy desire to to grow and learn, to go beyond our current understanding, because that's the hard thing. People, you don't know what you don't know. So that is like learning how to unlearn in a way, and open your mind to things. So if you go after those four desires, you achieve bliss. Your life is just fits together, and it doesn't have to be so stressed. And we could rewire our brain to experience bliss and our bodies to experience pleasure.
So, wow, there's like a bunch of things I want to say to that. But
Sorry.
so I'll just take the first one. So, if you put your energy into each area in a healthy fashion, you could
Mm-hmm.
achieve this bliss or fulfillment or whatever you want to call it. And that first one was interesting because in the West, bliss is money.
Right, right.
If I just have more money, I have more bliss. We both know that's not true. And there's
Mm-hmm.
the thing called the prosperity paradox, where after a certain point, the more money you get, the worse off you are in the other areas, mental, emotional, and spiritual. So, but you said that area is really for security.
Mm-hmm.
So that already right there is a difference between the West. Like, do you look at money as something that allows you to be secure, or do you look at it as your source of happiness?
Exactly. If you really look at what money is, if we can get philosophical, I mean, money is simply the ability to get someone else to do something that you don't want to do, right? Like you don't want to cook, you pay money. Like it's just energy. You don't want to invent an iPhone, you're paying for that invention. So that's really what money is. It's no bigger than that's why the Bible says, Jesus says the love of money. You're not supposed to love this energy. It's just one of the four energies. There's three other
So
energies.
yeah, so I love this. So it sounds like you're saying you can help people bring balance to their life. It's these four areas. And again, I'm a systems person. And so everything is a system. A system is a whole that consists of parts.
Mhm.
And you really can't look at any one part in the absence of another part. And so you really shouldn't be trying to become the best at any one of these parts. You should see how they all overlap. They all affect each other. And so you're coming up with these four parts. Um, Mental, emotional, spiritual, physical are those four parts. And it sounds like these are four parts that everybody kind of knows about. These are like some people call them like archetypes, right?
Absolutely. You just nailed it. It's a system way to look at your life. Your body is a system, but so is your mind. Society is a system, right? Like,
Right.
what is a system? I know you're an amazing system thinker, but it's like I try to explain it as, that your body is a system. You can't point to your body. Like you could point to these parts and these cells, and they're all working together, but the body itself is the system that you can't see, but yet you could see evidence of it by the fact that all the parts are working together. And you've heard this saying, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's crazy because people are like, part of the Wheel of Bliss is being able to receive more. It's being able to give more and being able to receive more. And I find that Americans actually have a very hard time receiving. They say money, money, money. Oh, buy me. Like they're obsessed with money, but they haven't even thought the next step ahead. Okay, so when you get all this money, what are you going to do? What they're really saying is, I want to have freedom. I want to be able to do the work and express my uniqueness. I want to do what really makes me happy, where I can make the most impact. I want to have the things that I love. And if I love to, be in nature, that's what I really want. And I want to learn about this. That's what they're really yearning for. But they have this thing about money. So what I do with the Wheel of Bliss is, yeah, it's like, okay, let's look at the system called your human life. And and be able to, okay, I know you don't have the money for things, but let's look at what it would look like if you have the money. Because when the money comes, now you'll know exactly where to put it. Again, it's like that the paradox which you're describing is because most people they don't expect the money, then they win the lottery and they don't know where to put it. If I won the lottery, I know exactly where to put it because I've been doing Wheel of Bliss for 12 years now on myself.
Right. The
I've been
thing is,
thinking
again,
about where I put this energy.
I don't want to get too far into I want to hear your story. So I don't want to get too far into this, but in systems,
Yeah.
the profitability is not in the part, it's in the interaction. So you
Mm,
just explained giving and receiving. Those are the interactions. That's where all the profitability is. The profitability is not in me, it's in the interaction I have with people. And then the other thing you just said was,
love that.
because I go into schools and I'll say to the kids, if you had a magic wand, what would you want? And they either want to be famous or be rich. And I say, why do you want to be famous? So they can be rich. They just want to be rich. And then I ask them why? So I can buy this. Why? So I can do this. Why? So I can be happy. And then I say, why not just be happy?
Right,
So in
exactly.
the West, it's money is happiness, and it's there's a way to just be happy. It sounds like you figured out. So how do you represent these four areas?
How do I represent them? You mean like the elements or?
Is that what you do? You do the four elements?
Yeah, I mean, so there's an
Okay.
ancient concept of the four elements, and people who know astrology talk about them, but they actually, people take them to have literal meaning when they're actually archetypal, but yeah,
Right, because it's a system. It's
exactly.
standing for four parts of a system. So
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
then you do what is that? Earth, air, water, fire.
Exactly. So the
Okay,
earth,
so okay,
earth is the physical needs, which I like to say is like health and wealth,
nice.
security. The water is the emotional. So, and again, it's always giving and receiving. So it's like, how do you, what do you love to do for others, even if you weren't getting paid for it? So that's your giving. What do you do if someone's upset? How do you cheer them up? So getting to know yourself and a big part of the Wheel of Bliss, I know you know this because I've taken instant impact, is that the unconscious is programmable, but you have to say it out loud or write it down.
Yeah.
So when you said, I knew the Wheel of Bliss worked. I've been working on this for 12 years, but when I heard you say that, like it just gave me so much more understanding of why this works. And that
Okay.
and I was trying to, like I was trying to like I guess show like myself even that the Wheel of Bliss is effective. But when I heard you say that the unconscious, when you say it out loud, I was like, that's all I have to do. And the more I've been doing that, the more effective it becomes. It's like the person just walks away from a session. They're just answering these simple questions. It's a lot of fun. They're able
Right.
to think about like, yeah, what like they're able to imagine. It's really Wheel of Bliss is imagination. What
Right.
Carl
It's bringing
Jung,
it out in front of their unconscious.
yeah,
That's what causes that settled feeling. So
yeah,
that
we,
that
we could
makes a lot
talk
of
about
sense.
this forever, man. This
Yeah,
is
so
oh yeah.
earth is physical, water's
Water's
emotional.
emotional, that connection, the community. The fire is expression, confidence, energy. It's the energetic level.
Okay.
And that's
Air.
and I just want to say like the fire is like who inspires you? Like you're playing music with them and they're just a little bit better than you and the air is the intellectual or
Okay,
the
so then the
mental.
fire is like the spiritual too. You could say that's
You
like
could
the
call yeah,
spiritual, the intangible. Okay,
if you define it like that, yeah.
cool. Um, so then each of these areas, is
Mhm.
there a certain number of parts to that? Say like systems. Okay, we got
Yeah,
four,
yeah. So
and then
exactly. You're gonna love this. There's a giving and receiving,
okay,
but then there's another for each of the elements, the relationships between people. So you could have, so I like to say it like this is a really short version of it, but like
yeah,
who have you done business with? Who do you know like you lend them money, you're gonna get it back. If you have that type of relationship, you have a good earth relationship, a good physical relationship with that person. Who, and the next one, the water, who can you trust with a secret? You could be vulnerable with. So I have people going through all their relationships and having these concentric circles. Who is in the inner circle for each of the elements? And again, it's like we all know we're operating unconsciously. We're attracted to the wrong people all the time. Like we all know that.
But
And
we
it's not,
programmed that ourselves that way.
well, of
That's the
course, of
problem.
course. So this is just looking, it's like, hey, and all I really love, and it's so humbling, like the Wheel of Bliss, you know, my whole life, like everybody, type A personality, like I need to achieve, I need to earn my living, I have to earn respect. Whereas with the Wheel of Bliss, it's just me inviting people to share what they truly want.
Right. Right.
So
So, okay, so let me see if I can explain this. So when
thank
people
you.
ask me, I'm going to say, we're not on a hamster wheel wasting our
Yeah,
energy. We want to direct our energy in a healthy way. And we're going to direct our energy in four areas: mental, emotional, spiritual, physical. And in each of those four areas, there's kind of three questions or three aspects where it's really how we are exchanging and who we're exchanging with, who
exactly.
we're getting from, who we're giving
Can I,
to, and how we're doing that.
I'll sum it up in one sentence. It's what are you here to do? What will you, whether you believe in God or nature, what is your absolute uniqueness? And you'll know that because when you're doing it, you feel in flow.
Nice.
That's the first pillar. The second
Nice.
pillar is what is everything you need physically, emotionally, spiritually, and mentally that you need in order to do that for others? What do you
Nice.
need? And your needs include rest and love and and growth. Like we deserve all that. Remember, people have a hard time receiving. And then the third thing is, okay, great. Now we're part of a system called humanity, right? Like who are we like who's our soul community? Like who's our real inner circle? And then what roles do other people play in relation based on these four elements?
Right. So
Conscious
you've
way of living.
taken, yeah, and you've taken people through this.
Oh, absolutely. For 12 years, I've been doing this on
Okay.
and off. I have my
Right.
moments, but
But
meeting
recently
you,
now you've just
or
been
meeting you, like, and learning about flow says, I say you're like the hub of the wheel. That was all. I've been searching for flow. I
nice.
knew flow is the answer. I knew, but I couldn't explain it. I had nothing compared to like what I've learned from you, like about
Okay,
the,
so your Instagram's Clarity Flow Bliss.
yes.
Bliss is the wheel of bliss. What's going on here? Clarity Flow Bliss.
So yeah, so this is like my ultimate model, right? It's in short, I'll try to keep it short again. Everything I learned in Buddhism from 20 plus years of studying Buddhism is really that clarity part. It's the Buddha taught how do you clear away all of the preconceived prejudices, and I'm talking deep, deep, deep levels from your mind. So how do we purify the mind to the highest degree? It's a subjective thing. It's very individual. It's an individual path, but yet it's very universal, although there's many ways to enter it. So that's the clarity part. So teaching people, so the more you can get clarity, the more you can get into flow and the more you could live bliss. So clarity is really getting your mind to see clearly, to be able to so to really see clearly, have a really focused mind. Then
So
yeah.
so then that sounds like what you're doing is you're helping people internally
Hmm.
get rid of everything blocking
Exactly.
their
Buddhism
energy,
is
like the source of this distracted. Like if their energy was light, it'd be scattered versus focus, like causes it to be a laser.
the laser. It's exactly right. Exactly. So there's so many metaphors. Like there's like the Buddha gave so many metaphors, but yes, like it's already in us. It's not like we have to recreate the energy.
Right.
We just have to remove the things that are scattering. I love that metaphor too. Once it becomes the laser, now you can direct your attention, and that brings us to flow.
Yeah, the thing about flow is um
You have to go
It's
into focus and then relax. You have to laser focus, and then when it comes to flow, you have to relax the focus.
unconscious. You have
Focus.
to take control, give up control. Flow is taking control or focusing, giving up control or unfocusing, and it's flowing or back and forth. So it absolutely builds off of that first one,
Mm-hmm.
the focus. The thing about flow and flow says is that it's really about how you get energy, how you exchange energy with other
Right, right,
people,
right.
how you respond to your circumstances, or you respond to other people, and how you interact with your circumstances, interact with other people to get energy. So it almost sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong here, it almost sounds like if I was a person who had energy going all over the place, like the hamster wheel, I want to do the wheel of bliss because it will allow me to direct my energy in a way that's healthy. And then I could go to clarity because I've coached for a lot of years and some people are just not ready to sit quietly and take instruction
Mm-hmm.
because there's so
Right.
much going on
That's right. That's
that
right.
you got to let them direct that. And then once they direct it, it's almost like they have energy, you direct it in a healthy fashion. So now you can help them learn how to get more energy just from within them and then get more energy exchanging outside of them. And then it sounds to me like you could do the wheel of bliss first, and it would be this settling and just like really fulfilling and almost earth-shattering feeling of my unconscious, my conscious are together, and I'm now not stressed and a mess and anxious. And then you take
Mhm.
clarity and flow to give more energy. And then when you direct it, the wheel of bliss with more energy or ultimate energy, it sounds like wheel of bliss the second time would be completely different than the first time.
Oh, absolutely. It has totally different implications. That's what's yeah, you got it, man. That was so well explained. And
Well,
you
I'm a
gave
modeler, so I'm
you
trying
gave
to
me
put
also a
things
great
together.
you gave me a great point, a great idea too, because it is. It's like this perfect machine that's like this whole thing that's running through us, like our minds, like it's so unfathomable. But you're right. Like you could fix the machine over here, you could fix the machine over here. Wherever you fix it, it's gonna the whole. It's just again going back to systems. People are like, is this good for me? Is this good for me? Is this good for my liver? If you look at your body like a system, it's really only two things. Is it like if you improve your liver, you're going to improve every other part of your body. So improve everything all at once from every angle. And of
Right.
course, there's going to be and mitigate as much damage as possible.
It's just interesting because I realize now all I've been doing is that second step with people. I've really just helped them get energy from their surroundings and
Hmm.
their interactions with other people. But if they don't have that first step, there's a limit to how well they can flow. And if they
Hmm.
don't have that last step, there's a limit to how happy
Well,
they
well,
could end up being.
if I could share with you, this is like my mind-blowing thing that I've been working on, like my whole story and meeting you and everything is that the what I've been studying so intensely is the Eastern path, which is very individual, like I said. The Western path, which I think you have modeled, you've taken all of Western civilization from the Greeks to the Old Testament to the New Testament and science, and you've put together the most practical way to do that, which is to flow. So I would say the essence of Western culture is learning how to flow. And
Oh,
that is and if you read the Bible, everything in the West is very relationship oriented. Whereas if you read Buddhism, the entire Buddhist thing, even when you're reading the gods and everything, it's not meant to be taken literally. These are all just ways to relate to your own mind, to master your own mind. So it's like it just really feels
oh
like
wow.
like together you and I have like and I've read the Bible like I've already been on this path, but I can see like it's so great to tap into what you've done. It's like literally was the missing piece, like the flow. And so yeah, so I've been working on flow, but meeting you is like I got it now, and the whole thing just snapped together. Like the bliss and the clarity and the bliss fit together because I needed the flow as well.
Okay, so I could keep going. Let's get to your story because I could, man, oh man, I could just keep
I mean, do we
going.
have time, or should we do it another time, or we're good?
No, let's I think we got some time.
Okay.
I think we can do this in the next 20 minutes or so. So let's yeah, where were you born? Tell me please start your story. I want to hear your story.
Okay. Okay. So, born in Staten Island, New York. I don't know if you know much about it, but
No.
it's it's close to Jersey.
It's
We have
one
it's
of the
one of
five
the
boroughs,
five
right?
boroughs. Yeah,
Okay, I
yeah.
knew that.
So I grew up with like a lot of mafia, basically. That was my childhood.
Really?
It was
What was the
intense.
neighborhood like?
It was intense. I mean, my block was very unique. Because it was like kind of like in the woods. Like south of Staten Island was very woodsy. Then they built the
Oh,
Verrazano Bridge, and everyone from Brooklyn came, and they just developed it like crazy. So we were
oh,
there before a lot of the development started. So my block was very multicultural, educated, and it was just really cool. And um, yeah, grew up with people from Haiti, people from the Philippines, Irish. Italian. There
nice,
was obviously Italian, but then
nice.
if you go off my block, it was very heavily Italian, Sicilian. But
Wow. So tell me about your mom and dad.
all right, so yeah, let's see. My my dad. I'll start with my dad. Yeah, so my grandfather, his father, and his brothers owned the biggest health food store on the East Coast. So I got that
This
in
is
my.
like when? Like what
This is
year are we
like in the
talking?
70s, like mid
Okay.
70s. Yeah.
Wow.
Now you see Whole Foods everywhere. This was very, very early on. It's a whole nother story, but so I had that influence in me that there was a connection between food, a little bit of system thinking. My grandfather would say that, like you make the body healthy. Don't worry about the germs so much, worry about the body. The system, yeah. So I had
Perfect.
glimpses,
I like him already.
but my father, my father loved to cook. He was a mathematician. He loved to cook, and my one of my earliest and one of my favorite memories is like he's cooking because my mom didn't cook. My father cooked. And I was climbing up on the counter. I'm like maybe 5 years old, maybe even younger, and he had the spice rack, sage and clove and cinnamon and anise, fennel. And I'm just opening them up and smelling them one by one and learning how to read too. So I'm like, clove, like, and I can remember it like it was yesterday and smelling it because I'm a chef too. So this was like, I love the smell. My favorite sense. I always say some people are like visual, some people are auditory. I'm definitely olfactory. Like I'm smell. So
Nice.
such a good connection with smell. So that was my early memory. And then watching him cook, and he loved, he taught me also, he loved different cultures. So we would go to like this place, Edison, New Jersey. It's like all Indians. We'd be the only non-Indians there. And we would eat there, and then we would try to go to the grocery store, get the ingredients, and he'd get cookbooks, and we'd cook at home. So I grew up like, yeah, cooking from like 7 years old. I was already cooking. And we'd always go food shopping too on the weekends. Like he would go on an adventure, and then we wind up food shopping, and my father would just let me roam around, like go buy stuff. But he told me to read the label and make sure there's no artificial colors or flavors in it. So
Oh,
at an early age, like I see people now, they don't know how to look at a label. I learned at 7 years old, 8 years old, to go around and read labels. So that's been again a thread throughout my whole life
nice.
is is reading labels because you know this. The packaging is speaking to your unconscious. It's speaking to
Mhm.
your feelings, the colors, the clown, all this stuff. But the label, when you read that label, your conscious mind is on board.
Nice.
So that
Nice.
was that was my
So you said mathematician, like math teacher, or you worked for a
math
company doing
teacher.
math? Math
Yeah,
teacher. Okay. And
yeah.
then what about your mom?
My mom taught elementary school.
Oh, so both teachers.
Yeah, both teachers. Yeah,
Okay.
and my sister too was also a math teacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But yeah, my mom is she's very intelligent, and what should I say? We have a really good relationship. I understand her. I understand, my view on parents is you just have to love them. Like call
Uh-huh.
them, love them. Like you don't have to change them, And I think like, yeah, a lot of my Buddhist stuff has rubbed off on her. Like she's like in critical times, like she came to me and I think, yeah, she
So
got it.
how were you in school? How were you as a kid?
Yeah, very good. I started to get frustrated because I always wanted to understand the why, the deeper, the system of why we're doing these things. And I wasn't so good at just regurg. I mean, I was good, but I didn't really enjoy learning really until college. But
Okay.
yeah, I did really good in school.
Cool. And then anything else about your childhood?
Well, yeah, I mean, so I wound up having really bad like irritable bowel syndrome in
Oh,
since I was 10, like really painful bloating and stuff. So I'll tell you how I in next like later on how that what happened with that. And then also I had panic attacks. So I had physical and mental and intellectual. Like so again, the four elements. Like I was hurting in all four of the elements. I was questioning reality. I was disconnected, so didn't have like a way to express myself. So you could say I started off, with all four of my needs like not really met.
so do you have any friends growing up?
Yeah, absolutely. I had a best friend who was Filipino, and his older brothers would go into Chinatown and bring back these kung fu movies. And I went over there and I'm watching these kung fu movies, and it was like it just the whole thing was just it was like a light in this darkness, like because I didn't mention it, but I always felt like I said very confused in this American culture. So now I'm at my Asian friend's house. We're eating rice. Like I'm like, how come we don't eat rice at home? And he's got like some Asian art. They were Catholic, but they had still Asian art, and everything resonated. But when I saw the kung fu movie, I said, this is where I belong. Like this is where I want to be. I want to be talking to this wise master. I want to become wise like this master.
Nice.
So that was, yeah, that's a big part of my story. And then 20 years later, I'm literally living in a monastery surrounded by monks, like studying all this stuff. So
Right. So you became a teacher? You got ordained as a lama?
yes, yes, that was I studied. I did this training for 8 years. Went back to India, took examinations, became official lama, and that was
Did
in
they
2013.
did they give you a different name? Did they do that name
Yes,
ceremony?
absolutely. That's when I got the name Demchuk. Yes.
Oh, okay. So so what was your name?
My name is Siegel, but I don't like that name because when my great grandfather came from to Ellis Island, they just picked that name. It's not our actual name.
What's your actual name?
It's something like Karashenkov. It's like Russian. It's like so so to me it's not even a real name.
Well,
And
Siegel's
Demchuk,
definitely not your real name.
exactly. We just picked it. They picked it, and but here's the really cool thing. This is like so synchronistic. So going back to that story when I was coming up with this thing based on the four desires, and um that like and I'm like I'm gonna come up with a method to get people to get out of the hamster wheel and get into this other wheel, right? I wasn't calling it a wheel at the time, but that was the idea. And my teacher told me I was a lama, like 500 monks did this whole thing for me, and and he was sending me a letter with my name in it. So I had to wait months to get this. So when I finally got the name, it was Demchuk, which is this Tibetan word for the Sanskrit word chakra samvara, which means the supreme wheel of bliss. And it means, again, being able to turn this matrix into bliss. So it was like, it could not have been more synchronistic. Like, this was my vision exactly. And then I get the name and the character, the archetypal representation of Demchuk has 12 arms and there's 12 parts of the Wheel of Bliss. So yeah, it just fit. And then Jason means healer, and then so that's a big part of what I do. Like, I help people heal. I'm part of the healing process. And then Demchuk means a supreme wheel of bliss. So it's like my Eastern and my Western parts.
That is your real name.
Yes,
That
exactly.
is your real name. Wow. That is ridiculous. So, Okay, so let's we'll just wrap it up here. So at this point in the story, um, you're having anxiety issues,
Mhm.
you're having IBS physical issues, you're having purpose
Hmm.
issues, maybe feel like you're a displaced person, not in the right continent.
Absolutely.
So how'd you respond to all this?
So I made the decision I'm going to study psychology. That was my decision. I'm like, okay, I'm going off to university. I was really depressed. Like, oh, what's the point of all this? And but I got this renewed sense. I was reading psychology, and I actually was reading Buddhism. I was early on Buddhism, 17 years old, because I went
Nice.
down this rabbit hole. Again, no internet back then. It was book rabbit hole, but I was, reading about like the hippies and the Beat generation, and I realized all the Beat, they were all studying Buddhism. I'm like, what's this Buddhism? I knew what it was so it's just from like the movies, but now that was all kung fu. Now I'm like, oh, there's a philosophy behind this, and wow, it's been a long journey since then.
Nice. Okay, this was great. This was better than
Yeah,
I thought
thank
it was
you. Thanks
gonna
for asking these good
turn out.
questions.
So next time we'll cover the college years. Okay?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's psychology. That's what I was saying.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks,
man.
John. I'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.